Simeon, this is a controversial stock, I guess you could call it. Pandemic peaks. This was the next best thing, changing the paradigm of fitness, and we're a far cry away from those levels now. Why the upgrade today?
Kelly, when Dom said surprising, I couldn't decide if it was the upgrade of Peloton or that he was saying it came from me. I've gotten some wild emails today. People are asking me if I'm feeling okay. So, listen, I think we have had so many conversations about this company. And what I want to be very clear is throughout all of our negativity, I'm pretty sure in most of my reports we would recommend the bike, not the shares. This was a fantastic product, built a fantastic community. And the question was, why did the market dislocate that value so much? Why did fundamentals diverge from sentiment? And I think it could be as simple as we all saw 4 Peloton vans driving outside our streets and assumed that the world saw that too. That's inflected. And so do I think that the TAM, do I think that the ultimate opportunity is through the roof? No, I think that those risks still remain. But at the end of the day, I think the stock is now reflecting a different scenario. And I think that creates some nuance where it's time to step aside.
I mean, so, Simeon, it's almost like you could have just declared victory and walked off into the sunset. And, you see, I was short on this thing when everyone was long. And so now it's like, OK, do we see a short-lived rebound, or is this a really kind of investable thesis for the long run?
Yeah, and listen, Kelly, you know me well. My goal was never to root for failure. My goal was never to knock something down. So, my goal is not to take the victory lap. But I think the important thing, I want to be intellectually honest about this. And so when I look at this, I say we held our price target. Our price target's $9.50. That's actually a pretty nice upside here. Do I think that the long-term concerns are behind us? No. I think that we were negative into the print because this was the quarter that the company had to guide subscribers down. It is seasonal, right? In addition to saturating the market, it's beautiful outside. Thankfully, it's finally beautiful outside. That makes it harder and makes people want to churn more, and it makes people less inclined to pick up a new bike. But that doesn't mean once it gets cold out, that doesn't change. And I don't want to oversimplify that, because I do still think that at the end of the day, the saturation concerns exist. But I think it's also easy, the same way we all took it too sentimentally positive, I think it's possible to take sentimentally negative. And so that's why I didn't raise the price target and I didn't lower my price target. I felt like it was an appropriate level. Where we are with the stock right now argues that's in favor. And an interesting thing that you and I have talked about forever about other brands, not about tech streaming products, about physical fashion brands. When you sell less and charge more, when you internalize that that's what you should do, that's how you become healthy again. And so one thing that we saw that was very interesting out of this print was you're watching the price people are paying per month go up. So I'm getting fewer customers, but they're paying more. That worked for a lot of brands, and that's a nice sign of restructuring stories.
All right, and before we let you go, Simeon, you made allusion to that total addressable market, that TAM. In your mind, what assumptions does that total addressable market look like for Peloton right now and in the future?
It's a great question. I'm not smart enough to know the answer because it doesn't exist yet. But I think what I have done this whole time, the reason our bear thesis, our sell rating was predicated on the fact that the data we saw, the customers being added, never suggested the 100 million member opportunity was close to what we were seeing. I would say that's the same. I think the way that I'm thinking about it is there's 3 million members now. That's going to be give or take. You're at the point where you're losing about 100,000 people per quarter. So you have to find a new 100,000 people per quarter. It's going to be hard. So I think this is going to be less a TAM story, more a value opportunity, more a restructuring opportunity if we're getting excited. And that's why we want to focus on the brand. We want to see the company bear hug their brand loyalists. And that's what I think the next step would become.
$8 or so a share, maybe up to $9.50. Simeon, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. It's a fun take today.